Okay. So working out, super effective at building strength, longevity, feeling good in our bodies, moving better, doing the fun things. There are a few things we can do to optimize that, and there's a few things that we sometimes screw up, for lack of a better term, that impact the rate of progress that we make. And most of those things revolve around what we're doing in the training, like the stimulus we're giving, the work or the rest, the recovery, and then what is happening outside of the training. So off days, sleep, nutrition, all those things. Today we're going to talk about one little thing, and that is intensity or the stimulus that we're giving the muscles. So in most training programs, it is prescribed that we work at a submaximal intensity and do multiple sets, and that carries through to building strength, building hypertrophy, whatever the goal is outside the gym. And that's an impacting way to do it as long as the stimulus is adequate. So there's two ways you can measure how much work you're doing and is it enough. One is called a rate of perceived exertion scale. It's this little scale that goes from 0 to 10, or maybe 1 to 10. And 1 is very easy. You could do this all day. Like let's say we're doing an overhead press. 10 is I can't lift any more weight than I'm already lifting, and I also can't even do one even half rep from here. So it's maximal effort. Typically, the submaximal workloads that we work in are 7.5 to 8.5, somewhere in there, to be really specific. Sometimes it is appropriate to go to maximal and failure. I'm working in a program right now for myself that it's mostly failure, or more often than not failure. The other way you can measure how much intensity you're working at and how much stimulus you're giving the tissue is using a scale called the reps in reserve. And that's basically just the RPE scale flipped on its head. So how many more reps could I do right now? So one way to test that, to see if your RPE or your RiR is actually accurate, often it's not. Often we can do more than we think. We can lift more weight than we think, is to actually try it out with one of the exercises that you're fairly comfortable with and that you feel safe doing potentially to a maximal level or to failure. So I'm going to take you through that with a different exercise right now so you can kind of see it in action. Oops. So here's what I'm going to try on my squeaky floor is a dumbbell lateral raise eccentric. So I'm going to probably use my opposite hand, maybe my legs a little bit to throw it up there, and then slow on the way down, as slow as I can control. At some point, I'm gonna go for 8 reps at an RPE of 8, and then I'm gonna predict how many more reps I can get at that point on, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. So a little bit of help up when I need it, and then a real slow down. 2. 8. Okay, I think I can do 2 or 3 more. So it should be right on target. Yeah, that was it. Ugh, yeah, it fell down. So, what'd I get? 14 or 15? So yeah, perfect example of like what the RPE is in our heads and what we can actually do. So that was when I said I was at an RPE 8, I was more like a 6.5 or 7. And the capacity for me to go beyond that was way higher than I anticipated. And I've done this exercise before. Use that little assessment on yourself. Pick an exercise that you feel like you're good at doing and you want to see, or maybe one that you're stuck in and you're not seeing progress, and see what happens when you push yourself to go all the way until you can't physically do it anymore, as long as that's safe, and see how that compares on the chart. I'll stick the charts down in the comment or the description section so you can go back and look at that on your own. If you happen to try this little exercise on your own, let me know how it goes and what drill you use it for and how it felt. Good luck.